Oh. That's so cool. That's so cool.
Batter up. This is the Bureau podcast from the cage, and it's a quite noisy cage as well. The baseball cage, that is. Yep, we're on location here at Vietnam's first automatic baseball cage in Ho Chi Minh City's District 7. Whoop, whoop. Thank you for listening and watching wherever you are. We're also filming the episode today, and you can find the video on our YouTube channel. Just search the Bureau Asia, and it should hit you in the face like a fastball if you're not watching carefully. Make a comment, give it a like, and share to your friends so they can see our content too.
Make it a home run, right?
Yeah.
And we've got an angle grinder going somewhere over the back of the cage there as well. While we're at it, don't forget to subscribe while you're there so you don't strike out on anything exciting on the Bureau Asia channels. And a disclaimer of sorts today before we get underway. Your listening experience might be a little bit different from usual. As you'll notice today, we've got more of a live stream vibe happening.
We've got girls at the moment in the cage hitting some balls. We've got neighbors with an angle grinder. What did you just say, Mel?
Is that legal? Is that legal? So, you might hear some unusual sounds, noises, grimaces, and perhaps even some cries for help from both sides of the cages right by us here.
Speaking of boats, there is a canal like just at the back of this area, and we actually heard a little bit like boat sounds.
Yeah, that's right. And some guy with an angle grinder.
Everything's happening.
Anyway, let us know what you think. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Should we do some live streaming in the future? It's something we've been tossing up doing for a while now, so we'd like to hear what you think. Let us know on any of our social channels at the Bureau Asia, or even better still, scroll down past the show notes if you're listening on Spotify, and you'll find our poll and Q&A section.
It's actually a pretty cool poll. Like the functionality. It's
a good little function, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a cool little functionality on Spotify and Anchor as well. Yeah.
Oh, and pretty soon Spotify will be able to do like the video podcast as
like
well.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that'll be really good. So you will have worked out already today's a sporty theme. Look around. Andy's got the Guernsey on there, the maroons.
I got my shoes on.
Yep. And in addition to introducing you to this wonderful place here, we're going to chat a little bit about some lesser known sports that are played here in Vietnam. After that, we chat to Aussie pro-triathlete Tim van Berkel.
Yay! I met him before.
Before the pandemic, was a regular competitor at Ironman 70.3 Vietnam in Da Nang. In fact, he took out the title in 2017 and came second in 2016 and 2018.
Wow.
We were there. We saw him in the finish line.
Yep. And back in 2014, he finished seventh in the biggest race of them all, the Ironman World Championship at Kona in Hawaii.
Nice. Great coffee there. Kona coffee.
And I should have cued the Hawaiian music. The calypso kind of, So anyway, look forward to that. Tim's an absolute champ for agreeing to talk to us today. So he's up shortly. Speaking of champions, let's introduce a couple of them sitting alongside me on the bench here, or should I call it the bullpen? It's Mel and Andy. How are you guys?
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah. It's been a week. Hello.
And I kind of screwed things up a little bit, but I still have the walk-up songs for you guys. So,
okay.
You want to cut that?
Yeah.
Because they were kind of cool.
Now we need a new one though.
I've got a couple of different ones.
Okay.
They're baseball themed.
Okay.
The first one is for Mel.
All right.
All right, here we go.
I hope we can hear it.
Ooh.
Is this for me?
This is for you, Mel.
Is this like from a baseball movie theme?
It's from YouTube.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Is this for me?
Yeah.
All right. All good and ready here. Let's play ball. It sounds like a NASCAR song, though, more than a baseball song.
It kind of fits, though, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it feels like I'm in the South.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
NASCAR.
Yeah.
Just needs a Confederate flag and then we're set. No, kidding.
I should have checked beforehand that we didn't have
No,
any
we
up.
don't have any.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so
All good.
that was Mel's walk-up song.
I'm
and
excited. What's mine? What's
Okay,
mine?
this is yours, Andy. I'll just turn it up a little bit. I'm just wondering whether you can pick it.
Who is this?
This is my co-host Bob Budakubo. Bob, say hi.
This got a reggae feel to it.
Never heard of it.
It's Nelly. It's called Batter Up.
Ah.
Never
Okay,
heard of it. Never heard of it.
That flopped.
Yeah,
Anyway, guys, how are you?
Good.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good.
All good?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep. All good. I feel very sporty, even though I'm not I'm wearing rubber shoes. Yeah, things are good. I'm pretty excited, ready to do this podcast with my pitcher over here and our shortstop over
Oh.
there.
Okay.
Does that make me the catcher?
No,
Yeah,
I'm
what's
the catcher.
What's a shortstop?
Right?
Okay.
Oh, the shortstop is the one who, like, if there's somebody bunting, maybe,
Righto.
then he's like.
Must be like the silly mid-off or
Silly,
whatever
yeah.
in cricket.
But actually, the last time the two of you stood next to each other, Matt, you were shorter than Andy. Is that like a sign of
wouldn't say-
old age?
I think Andy's
You're
got
shrinking.
lifts.
Yeah,
He
do you
wears
shrink?
lifts.
Yeah.
Do you shrink
I
when
do
you get
shrink
older?
in some departments.
Like George Costanza, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, when you're in the swimming pool.
Yeah, in the
It was
swimming pool.
cold. It was cold.
Shrinkage.
So, what do you think about this place, you two? Pretty good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it's nifty. I like, obviously, the decorations, except, I don't know, maybe later we'll take a video and we can include it in our video
Yeah.
podcast version. But there's actually a German guy drinking beer right like where we are
Yeah,
right
it's
here.
above the camera.
Not a
if you're
real one.
watching.
Yeah,
not a
no.
real one.
It's a painting.
So I think that's the only thing that was like kind of off theme, but everything's good. So the audio of our podcast is a bit canny, like it sounds like a can.
Yeah. Well, I guess
Yeah.
that's the...
It's a cool effect.
Outdoor, yeah.
It would
So-
be part of the effect.
So I like it. It's got high ceilings,
Yep.
We've got fans all over the place. So maybe that also contributes.
We've got the angle grinder.
The angle grinders
It's all
again.
real. It's all
Yeah.
real. We probably should have live streamed it.
Yeah, the authentic experience, right?
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
I think if we can get through this in one piece, we'll be
good.
able to do it anywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
So yeah, I like the airiness of it because for a sports bar,
Yep.
most of the clientele would be smoking.
Yep.
So I'm not a smoker. I have asthma. So I like it if there's a breeze that, just circulates. And this is a perfect place for that kind of situation.
yeah, and one thing that Meldon mentioned, there's a batting cage.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's four, really.
Really?
There's four.
Yeah. There's a batting cage, and it's like depending on which speed you want. So you can choose. So if you're on a date, it's really awesome. You can act like you know what you're doing, just a little bit better than your date. From like cage 1 to cage 4,
Yeah.
all have different speeds, which is cool.
Yeah, the first one's 70 k's an hour. So
Cage,
that's
yeah.
43 miles per hour for our American friends.
And then
Which is pretty easy. 70 k's an hour,
the
easy.
fastest one is like 100.
Yeah, it's 100 k's.
Yeah.
100K.
Yeah, so if the date doesn't go too well, Andy, you throw them in the 100k,
Yeah.
later on.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it's cool. Like, actually, the funny thing, as a recording, right? Do we know that Japan is actually number 1 ranked in the
Are
world?
they?
Yeah.
I knew that they were crazy about
Yeah.
baseball,
I mean,
but
all the, like the ex-American or like, the ones that didn't go to the big league, like the minor leaguers,
Yep.
they get recruited to be imports in the Japanese
Yep.
league.
and
Yeah.
it's a different season too. So I think the Japanese season is the off season for the States, so
All
they
right.
can play
But
continuously.
if you look at the doing some stats, right? America's number 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
What happened there?
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe it's like the English with their football.
No, it's like New Zealand with their rugby. If you take away all of the players from the islands
Yeah.
and just people from New Zealand,
Okay.
they wouldn't be ranked as high.
Oh, so
Yeah.
the US league is full of Central and South Americans or something?
No,
isn't it?
I guess
Cuba,
it's
And
A-Rod,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
so Japan, Korea are 1 and 2, and then Chinese Taipei
no way.
is number 3.
Wow.
Up the ranks.
Yeah. Number 4 is what? USA. Australia is number 7. And, well, you know,
Australia is 7.
Yeah.
So how many nations actually play this sport? If Australia's
It's
7.
wild.
there's 85 nations that are ranked at the moment. So come on, Vietnam. If Vietnam just enters in, you would actually technically rank higher than the men's football team, which is like ranked at 98?
Yeah, they're
What
off the
about
scale,
South
really.
Korea?
Yeah, South Korea is number 2.
Because
Wow,
here in
that's amazing.
Vietnam, the majority of the players who are into baseball are South Koreans.
Yeah, that's right. Now, we've all had some time to look around and we've been out there in the cages slugging balls. What are some of the highlights for you in the cage?
Well, this is actually our 3rd time here. So we did a recce like 2 times. The second time we did a recce, I tried hitting some of these balls and my thongs fell apart. So
Okay, you better explain
Yeah.
about your
yeah.
thongs.
Okay. To our American listeners who are into baseball, a thong is not an undergarment. It's a flip-flop.
You know, you should have put the thong song like.
Oh,
You should have
yeah.
queued that up.
I'm a bit slow, aren't
Drew
I?
Hill.
Yeah, so, yeah, look, I don't think I'm fit enough to, like, try it again. It's just
You can do plenty of bunting. You could do a
a
bunt.
bunting.
That's all right.
Oh, yeah,
Bunt.
yeah, yeah.
Bunt.
Just
Yeah.
put your
Isn't that
arms
what it's
out
called?
there and
Yeah,
just
a
wait
little,
for it.
You know, just a little tap.
What about
Yeah.
you, Andy?
Yeah,
Did
no,
you like it?
I like it. I mean, like you guys came, like we came here to have
Yeah.
a look at it last time earlier this week, and it was my first time. To be quite honest, I'm not a baseball fan at all, but it's actually because it has the cages and it invites you to actually want to give it a go.
Yep.
And so you end up having fun.
Yep.
And, you know, I mean, I feel really rusty, obviously, with the hand-eye coordination. You feel super rusty. And also, you know, your arms kind of feel tight as well after trying to slug it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's really good. And
And
like,
you can sit here and have a beer.
you can have
don't
a beer.
have to do it if you don't want to.
You don't have to- and also like Mel said, like people don't smoke here, so
Yep.
it's really actually really cool to bring a couple of mates. It's in D7, so it's actually not far.
Yeah, we should explain where it is, I suppose.
It's in the
Yeah.
middle of District 4 and, well,
Well, not
well,
really.
not
No, it's
really.
In, it's in,
it's nearer
it's
District
near
4.
Lotte Mart.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Did
that's
you know
it.
where Lotte Mart is?
Yeah.
So it's actually pretty cool. Like, think about it this way: like, it's in a fairly local area of D7 in a
Yep.
sense. It's just over like this little. You go over this bridge where there's like a little
Past the swamp.
past the swamp. I was gonna say river. I was
Over a
gonna be
canal,
nice.
a
Yeah.
canal, yeah.
Just a little stream that runs through, and then then you get to this place, and yeah, I think it's been open since I was talking to the owner. It's been open since March earlier this year.
Yeah, but then COVID hit and they had to
Right.
close. So
Okay.
yeah, that's unfortunate.
Well, it's a good little find. So,
Yeah, definitely
if
recommend.
You
Yeah.
find yourself out in District 7, come and check it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get out of the bubble. Get out of the bubble.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
And they also
Shots fired.
specialize in craft beer as well. So if you're into craft beer, but also, you know, your regular sort of Vietnamese beers as
Yeah.
well, your
And ginger
lagers and
beer.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
If you
Oh,
want
yeah,
that Bundaberg
Bundaberg.
rum.
drink.
yeah, if you're
So,
Aussie and looking
yeah.
for Bundaberg, it's
Yeah,
here.
if you just want to come and have a quiet drink and watch others get slugged by
yeah,
these
we've got
balls,
like
so
at
you can do
least
that.
6 people right now in the cages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do some really cool B-rolls, like slow-mo
Yep.
B-rolls when people are trying to smack it or attempt to
Yep.
smack it, and they either do a quick like swing and a miss, or
Yeah.
they hit it on that sweet spot. I don't know. We'll find some B-rolls around that.
Like we're gonna insert it right here now.
Righto, guys, there's a quiz coming up, but before that, I want to know what sports you were into growing up. Andy, I know boxing has been a massive part of your
Combat
life.
sports, yeah.
Tell us a bit about it.
Ah.
Well, I mean, I did it as a kid, and as a kid, you would do it because I got bullied. So that was really the reason. And then my brother did it, so then it kind of helped create that sibling rivalry between us. And then we got better at it, and you know, things kind of just moved on, and I competed and all this kind of stuff. And the good thing about it, and honestly, like, you know, the experience you get from doing sports, as you know as well, like you build discipline doing that, hopefully.
Not at my level.
But resilience as well,
Yep.
when you have to got to push hard. And also, like, ironically, like in a combat sport like boxing, you actually build teamwork, because you also realize that you're not the individual you're the individual that does it at the end of the day, but there's a whole bunch of people around
The coach.
you, the coach,
Right.
the trainers, your other training partners who help you get to that point.
So did you belong to a team, like you had a sparring partner in your training
Yeah.
group, your brother?
Yeah. So we had a team, and the great thing about it is I kind of took the initiative, and I went to other gyms as well to train and spar. So you kind of build a camaraderie between other gyms as well. I know some places don't like that. I know some gyms, like, they prefer you not to, but I personally think that's a good thing to do, because if you're so used to fighting in your gym, you may dominate your own gym.
Yeah.
Once you get into competition, you're going to be deer in headlights. So if you're able to experience everything before the lights, then when it comes to hitting the lights, it's all just automatic. Like, you're not having to think about anything. And I think that's the thing about combat sports and any professional sports. Like, it's all the training that you do beforehand.
Yeah.
And then once you actually compete, it's just automatic. Yeah.
It's just interesting though, because you keep saying it's a combat sport, but you actually came into it as a defensive mechanism for your situation as a kid, bullying.
Yeah.
And to beat the crap out of people if it came
bash
to that.
people up.
Yeah.
No. But it was I did it to stop bullying. I was getting bullied as a kid. And I mean, we can talk about that on another kind of segment, but yeah, through that. But also, when you're 15, you're a little bit ill-disciplined as a child. And so I was really lucky to have, like, good role models in that gym, and then they've been able to kind of help me
Structure
my life. Yeah. Otherwise, I think I would have just been a degenerate. Like, I would have just.
So sports is very important as a young person in your
being
experience.
active.
Yeah.
Being active.
But you
is so
didn't just do it to be fit, or it wasn't just a Tuesday or Wednesday night thing after school. You actually got to a pretty high level.
Yeah, but it started that way as well.
Okay.
It started as like, let me just learn.
Yeah.
Let me just have something to do after school. Otherwise, I'm just going to run amok, right?
Like, how high
Andy's
level?
being pretty
Olympic.
humble. What, you were ranked? What,
Yeah, I mean,
third or fourth in Australia?
Yeah, so for anyone who's like watching or listening, like, I went to the level of wanting to compete in the Olympics because I thought it would be fun. And so I went to the
Olympics.
Oh, you've seen all those
fun.
condom advertisements and how many
What condom?
Well, the stories about the Olympics each time they come around.
Oh,
There's always
yeah.
a
The
story on
village.
how many condoms they
In
go
the
through
Olympic
in the village.
village.
Yeah,
How many
yeah.
beds, how
I
many
was
beds
thinking-
get broken?
I was thinking about the chicken nuggets from Macca's, like at the Olympic Village more so than anything.
righto.
No. But I decided I wanted to compete in the Olympics because I thought it would be fun. And so I went through the Olympic trials and then went through that experience as well. Struggled, like, pretty much geared my whole life towards it. Like,
Wow.
finished uni as quick as I could.
How old were you when you stopped boxing professionally?
Well, when I stopped competing, it was about 23, 24. But I
Oh.
still stayed within the sport relative to it. So, I also did stuff around, like, China boxing as well, and been able to be a commissioner in China.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so when Manny...
that's when you met Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, so when I met Manny... So I got to walk Manny Pacquiao out. So if anyone is watching or listening, if you watch the fight that Manny Pacquiao walks out in, he only does 2 fights in China. But those 2 fights, you actually see
You
me
were
walk
there.
him out. Yeah.
Awesome.
and you don't look anything like the person you do now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was wearing different glasses at
Yeah,
that time.
you're less
yeah.
geeky looking.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
were in a suit, weren't you?
I was in a suit. I looked like a bodyguard. It was kind of cool.
Now, Mel, you're quite sporty. You're not a bad little runner, or
No,
you used to be.
yeah.
But it was on the sidelines where you excelled. And I mean that in a nice way. I think 99% of us excel on the sidelines. But you were a beach volleyball announcer at one
Yeah.
stage in the Philippines. Tell
Yeah.
us about that.
Well, it was a university open beach volley champ.
wow.
Wow.
Beach
That sounds like a
volley
college movie.
tournament. So it was sponsored by a famous FMCG brand, and I was a commentator for the live event. But they also telecast that on TV. So that was, you can't really see me on TV, but you can hear my voice, which is,
It's kind of happening now. maybe.
So yeah, I think I did that. I'm not sure. I can't remember now, but I think for like 3 summers. And it was also a chance to like go around the Philippines during the semifinals. So a specific university in, let's say, you know, Luzon, Visayas, or Mindanao, they would host the semifinals. And then we get to travel with the event company.
Yep.
And then the finals was always in Boracay Beach.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was something to look forward to. You know, I was working with my friends. We had like a 1-week beach holiday, all paid
sounds
for.
amazing.
And then all I needed to do was
just
just
all
like
Is talking to a mic.
Exactly.
Now, the Filipinos might kill me for saying this, but the Filipinos aren't overly tall.
Okay.
But beach volleyball and the Philippines, it's sort of...
Well, it's
you know,
like basketball
have they got
and the Philippines.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
that's another
Yeah.
massive
Yeah.
sport in the
Yeah.
Philippines, isn't
No,
it?
but actually the athletes from if I remember correctly, they were a little bit tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So beach volleyball, there's only like two in a team. And
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
That's right. Yep.
So you had to have the height
Yep.
and the build to like really
Yep.
run that sand. And sand is not very easy to run around in, because it sinks. So when you're saying that we're kind of short, we
you're
become
like-
shorter
right.
because the
Right.
sand, like it it goes down.
Sinks
It's like,
you.
It'd be
sinks
a
you,
tough
exactly.
sport, I reckon.
Yeah.
Anything on the beach there, that's hard work.
But it wasn't hard work. I mean,
For
well,
you.
for me. I thought we were talking about me. But yeah, it was like, it was pretty cool. But now looking back, I think that with all this hashtag Me Too movement going around, I do think that we subjected the female athletes to a different kind of, like condition,
Right.
They weren't really there to be seen for their athleticism, but how nice they looked in skimpy bikini outfits. And, looking back, I kind of feel, confused
you
with that.
contributed? Oh, okay.
I contributed,
Yeah.
truth be told. I was always assigned to like interview the male athletes.
Yep.
And, obviously there was a reverse male gaze.
Okay.
So,
Right.
yeah, right now it had lots of fond memories.
Yep.
But
But
looking back where we are right now, it is a bit,
Yep.
confusing.
Well, you guys have done some really interesting things, so I was thinking I might skip over my sporting career.
Nah, tell us yours. Tell us yours.
Okay, thanks for asking, but I'll just run through a couple of points. Growing up, tons of Aussie rules. I mean, like every kid in Victoria,
Yeah.
Yep.
pretty much.
AF.
You wanted to play
AFL.
Aussie rules,
Yeah.
AFL. Obviously, wasn't good enough at that. Was the captain of my local team, though, in the under-17s. So not too bad. So they saw something in me that I didn't. Leadership qualities. And then, of course, I had the obligatory career-ending injury that prevented me from
This
making
shoulder,
my way
right?
to the AFL.
Was it left shoulder?
What was your position?
I generally played, sort of on the ball or
What
wing.
is that?
You just sort of run around everywhere and
Okay.
try and get as many kicks as possible. So obviously no good at that. What else? During the summer, played a lot of tennis. So in country areas, it was either cricket or tennis in the summer. And then
You
it
had
was Aussie rules in the winter.
You had a tennis court in your
we had
backyard.
Wow.
we had one when I was growing up. Initially, it was dirt. So,
No shoes.
The spring had come, and then
So
you
it
had
was
to chip the
It was the
weeds.
Aussie clay court.
Yeah, it was actually. I actually cut my teeth on kind of clay, gravel. I think it was.
Were you the Pat Cash of
I
your
love
town?
Pat Cash. I even not of the town, probably of the little neighbourhood. But I did at one stage when Pat Cash won Wimbledon. I think it was in '87.
Yeah.
I must admit, I got Mum to make a couple of headbands.
Wow.
Like the
I think
checkered headband.
Well, Mum didn't have dresses that were checkered. She had some old dresses
Tablecloth?
lying around, and it was kind of
Curtains?
almost like a tablecloth. And I can remember she cut some strips off an old dress and made me up a couple of headbands. So
How
and
old
I'm
were you?
left-handed as well. Oh. Back then, I would have been about 12 or 13. But yeah, lots and lots of tennis. I mean, in the summer, you always had a racket in your hand.
Yeah.
And I was the under-16 champion. So I've
Your
actually,
name is in the clubhouse.
my name is
Wow.
on the board. So how about that? That's a bit of an effort. I quite
That's
like
good.
that. But the tennis career sort of flopped as well. And I've always been a swimmer, so never competitively, but it's something I've taken up as I've gotten older. You know, the impact is way less on the body. And actually, the swimming has meant that I joined the Ironman 70.3 in Da Nang a few years ago. I did the relay leg. So I did the swimming. And that's where I met our special guest today.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. So, yeah, looking forward to talking to him and catching up with him. Well, this is the part of the episode we've been waiting for. You guys get to ask the questions now to our special guest, Tim van Berkel, who's on the line from northern New South Wales in Australia. Tim is a professional triathlete who holds the distinction of being triathlon's youngest ever 3-time Ironman distance champion. Tim grew up in the southern New South Wales Murray River border town of Albury and was destined to perhaps chase a career in the AFL, or at least play Aussie rules at a high level. Tim turned professional at the age of 21 in 2007. He debuted at Ironman distance in the Australian Triathlon Championships soon after and finished 7th, automatically qualifying himself for the World Championship at Kona in Hawaii. Just for anyone listening who's not familiar with triathlon, of course, it consists of a swim leg, a bike leg, and a run leg. The distances vary depending on the type of race, but in general, there's Olympic distance, which is a 1.5 kilometre swim, a 40 kilometre ride, and a 10 kilometre run. There's also what's known as 70.3 or half Ironman distance, which is a 1.9 kilometre swim, a 90 kilometre ride, and a 21.9 kilometre run. That's where the 70.3 comes from. It's 70.3 miles. Then there's the full Ironman, which is double the half. So that's a 3.9 kilometre swim, a 180 kilometre ride, and a marathon, which is 42 kilometres. In 2014, Tim participated in the legendary Kona World Championships in Hawaii, the pinnacle of the sport, in which he came an amazing 7th after looking like potentially winning a podium finish, only to drop off the pace a little in the closing stages. Since then, he's participated in Ironman 70.3 Vietnam on a number of occasions, winning it once and coming second twice. Tim van Berkel, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, no worries. Good to catch up again, Matt.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. So I'll lead off. I think we've all got a few questions for you. So I think firstly, it would be good to tell us how you got into the sport of triathlon, because you grew up in southern New South Wales on the Murray River in the town of Albury, not too far from where I grew up in the Murray Valley. And I know that Albury-Wodonga is a massive Aussie rules area. So what dragged you away from playing Aussie rules?
Well, basically, I was not very good at football. So I would play footy in the winter time, and then I would do triathlon in the summertime. But it was just like a lot of running, swimming, riding with mates, and then I kind of realised I had a little bit of talent at it. I couldn't swim to save myself, but I could ride and run okay. And then I started entering in a few races, and I started going all right, and then I just fully committed to triathlon, and it just took off from there. But basically I was playing football. I wasn't very good, and then I would do triathlon to keep fit for footy.
Yeah, right. Okay, so you've been following the summers around the world for almost 20 years now, I think. Would that be right? About 20 years?
Oh, yeah, probably about 15
years.
Yeah.
And competing at the highest level in triathlon, was staying home for the past 2 years a shock to the system?
Look, yes and no. It sucks not being able to travel and race, because racing is a big part of the way I make an income, and keeping my sponsorship is, traveling overseas, getting results, etc., etc. So that really took a massive hit, and I lost a lot of income from racing, and I've lost a lot of sponsorship. But to staying home, spending all this time with my little fella's been amazing.
Yeah.
I've got to experience my backyard a lot more, hang out with mates, doing different things. I've been doing a lot of gravel riding, mountain biking, so that's been cool. And just really spending quality time with my little fella's just been amazing. Like, it's just, we just had a ball during COVID. So so there's plus sides and negative of it. But yeah.
So you'd have
financially it hurt, but it was just good to be with the fam.
Yeah. So Tim, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, Mel, you go.
Oh,
No, you go. Sorry, you go.
So I would just want to pick up from what you mentioned about your sponsorships. So how is it like now? Like now that, finally, hopefully we're, getting over COVID. How do the brands, are they becoming more active? Is there more interest in, supporting athletes like you in the sport? How's the marketing and advertising situation at the moment for athletes?
Yeah, look, I've been lucky compared to some athletes. Like a lot of I did get a lot of pay cuts, but a lot of my big sponsors still stuck by me during COVID,
that's great.
Which was really great. Basically, I haven't really got to race a lot the last 2 years. I have a little bit in Australia, but I reckon I did 3 races last year, and then I think I've done 3 this year, and hoping to do 2 more before the year's out. But it's been tough. But as I said, once we get back racing and get travelling again, I think things will pick up again. But a lot of the industries, like the bike industry, has just been going gangbusters because everyone's just getting into cycling. The same with the fitness industry with gym equipment and stuff like that. Because everyone's doing it from home now. So all businesses like that has just gone skyrocketed. But for us athletes, it's been tough. But, back in the States and Europe, everything's just gone back to normal and there's been heaps of racing. But to try to get over to the States is just a nightmare. Like, to get a plane ticket was like 20 grand return. Then you got to do hotel quarantine on the way home, which is another 4 grand. And it was all a bit too much. So...
Wow.
Australia's starting to get back on track. The country's getting double vaccinated and things are starting to open up now. So hopefully it'll be business as usual as going into next year.
Yeah, so Tim, just jumping in, like you just kind of mentioned the mentality part of it, like, the costs associated with it. In your mindset, like when you prepare yourself mentally and physically for an event, do you typically plan like 8 to 6 weeks beforehand, like with your training camps to get in shape, and both from your body perspective and your mind perspective?
Yeah, look, it depends really on what day, like what time of the year it is. Like at the start of the year, I always have a good off season during Christmas and enjoy Christmas, and then I start to build again for the following year. And then if I build up to a key race for like Ironman Australia, I usually use like a 6 to 8 week Ironman block to prepare. And then like you have like 2 weeks easy going into an Ironman, and then you do an Ironman, and then you have like a long rest period after like a week or 2 of not much really. And then, but I'm actually preparing for an Ironman now, and the build I'm doing is like 3 weeks build, but I've already got a good base of fitness there. So I decided that I could get to this race. So I've just done like a short 3 week period. But to get through mentally, I do a lot of visualization of like races, but I do that like race week when it's like you get into race week, you get to the destination, you study the course and stuff like that. That's when I really start to hone in the mental side of racing.
Wow.
But during the build for it is just training really, and just trying to stay healthy, injury free, and just tripping away training.
Yeah, and just as a follow up, because you've been doing it for so long, how has training changed over the years for you?
Yeah, definitely. Over the years, I've been doing it for 15 years now, and it's a very more scientific now. I train to from like back when I started. Like when I started, there wasn't power meters. We basically did a little bit to heart rate, but not much. But it was just a very old school train to feel kind of thing. But now, like, you upload your data to Training Peaks, you analyze it, you use power meters, heart rate. Like it's a very scientific approach we use now. I use this thing called a Whoop strap, which is on my wrist, and it monitors like
That's great.
my HRV, my sleep, my recovery, my training stress. So, yeah, a lot of scientific goes into it, a lot of gadgets and stuff like that.
That's like a wearable tech, right? It's you can
Yeah, so
download
it's
an app and everything.
Yeah, you download it app, you wear it on your wrist all the time, you sleep with it, you train with it, and it monitors your sleep. It tells you how much deep sleep you get, how much REM sleep you get, how many disturbances during the night, and tells you how, like your HRV, it measures that, and then for your sessions, it will monitor all your sessions and give you data for that, and gives you a training stress score. And yeah, it's really interesting. It's helped me stop overtraining. It'll tell me when I'm like getting sick and stuff like that. So it's a really good tool to manage all that stuff.
So you're a wizard at analytics these days. Hey, that could be a job after your career.
Well, yeah. Look, I use it as a guide. I'm not like, I don't study it too hard, but it's just a nice little guide there just to look. Like one day I'll wake up and I'm like, I feel a bit tired today, and then I'll download my data from my Whoop, and my HRV's low and I'm a bit tired, so I know to take it a bit easier that day.
Yep. So you've raced all the major triathlon events around the world, including Kona a number of times now. Where would you rank Ironman 70.3 Vietnam among all those races?
Oh, look, I love that race. It's such a cool race, and Bang and the team do such an amazing job. I've done Vietnam, I'm going to say 4 or 5 times now.
Wow.
Right.
The last, I won it in 2017, and the last time I did it was the Asia Pacific 70.3 champs, and I was second. It's just a great vibe. I really love the Vietnamese culture. I really enjoy my time in Vietnam, and it's that hot, fast racing kind of suits me. So I've always kind of done there. I think my worst result there has been a third, I think. So I've always been in the top 3. So it's definitely conditions that suit me. And, I definitely rate it up there. It's probably one of my favourite races, and hope to get back to Da Nang next year.
Does the race actually have anything unique about it that you could sort of say, you've got to go to this race for this particular feature? Obviously Kona is the World Championship, so, I mean, that's the pinnacle of your sport. I'm guessing that there are plenty of Australian races that have these sort of unique features about them. What would it be in Da Nang?
I think, it's just a race. You race in paradise. It's at a beautiful resort where we stay. The race, everything's there. Like all the athletes are having breakfast together. You've got that beautiful ocean swim, and then you got the ride through Da Nang there, through the city. It's just spectacular. And then that run along the beachfront there. It's just racing in paradise. So, and then you get to have a nice holiday after it. So it makes sense.
Yeah. So Tim, obviously you're like one of the elite athletes of triathlon, and ordinary people like us, like me, we think that, oh wow, getting into triathlons is going to be tough, especially if it might even seem unattainable to beginners. And so how do you think, in your opinion, can the triathlon sport organizers or the brands that sell merchandise for triathletes, how can they communicate to weekend warriors that, hey, give triathlon a try?
Yeah, look, I think Ironman do a very good job of that, because it's a sport that really attracts the amateurs. It really attracts the weekend warriors, because anyone can go do like a triathlon or race Kona or race Vietnam and race the same day with the best in the world on the same course. Like I can't go down and play tennis with Pat Rafter or anything like that.
True.
Or I don't know who's the best, Djokovic or like a tennis player like that. But triathlon, you can go race the same course as Jan Frodeno and race on the same day. So I think it really does attract the weekend warrior. And the Ironman, the brand, it's got this reputation of, it's such a big achievement to actually complete one of these things.
Yep.
Like you go to an Ironman anywhere around the world, and I'll guarantee you that the last place finisher who just finishes just under the 17-hour mark gets more of a cheer than the guy that actually wins the race.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
right.
bragging
Oh,
rights.
17
Yeah.
hours.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like, even though these guys, it's such a huge achievement, and it's like a big family, and they really like get behind it and support it. And I reckon it is a very much an amateur sport. Yeah, there's a small like pro field in each race, but it is very it attracts the weekend warrior, that's for sure.
Interesting. What's your best time for Kona?
My best time in Hawaii is I've gone 8:13.
Wow.
Wow.
And there's people who do it in
And-
17.
I sleep for 8 hours, Tim.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it.
Look, honestly, the race day itself, it goes really quick, and it's not too bad. What I struggle with is trainers for the thing. Like at the moment, I'm in the middle of by the time the week's out, I would have done like 28 to 29 hours of training for the week, and I'm absolutely just tired. I'm fatigued. I'm sore. I'm hungry. I've got this like full Ironman brain fog going on where I just can't even think straight sometimes.
Right.
And I'm like, I've just got a short fuse with my son. Like it just sucks. And I'm not pleasant to be around when I'm during an Ironman block. So I don't enjoy the training for it, but I really enjoy the race day. And when you cross that line and you do well, it's all really worthwall. And it's
Wow, it sounds like a lot of fun. I don't think I'll be doing one anytime soon.
It sucks. But as I said, the race day is awesome.
Right.
It's a great day.
Now, Tim, I've been given the last question for the day, and arguably it's the most important. Now, presumably you're reaching another milestone soon. You know, triathlon's all about numbers and all that sort of stuff, and that would be your 40th birthday. That must be coming up soon.
Happy birthday.
Not yet.
It's still a few years off.
A few years off. But you're getting close. So
Hey,
is it...
I only just turned 37.
Oh, right. About the same as Andy.
Yeah,
really?
same as me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But is it on your mind? Is it something that's there? Or is it just a number? Or is it something as a pro athlete
honestly,
you think about?
Honestly, like, I feel the best I've ever felt. I feel like I'm really fit. I'm really strong. I'm probably mentally the best I've ever been in my whole career.
Awesome.
It's just COVID hit and I can't race and it's just been hard. So, like, I'm fit and I'm raring to go and I'm frothing to race. I just every race I prepare for gets cancelled or postponed.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, like, next year will be interesting. I've got 2 more years on some contracts. That should be enough to keep me going. So I'm really pumped to really give it a good crack the next couple of years. But I can kind of feel like some of my sponsors maybe feel like I'm getting old and that it might be time to retire. I've kind of got that vibe off a couple of them. But look, I feel good. I'll give it a red hot crack the next 2 years and see what we can do.
Awesome. All
Hope
right,
to
Tim.
see you in Vietnam soon.
Yeah, hope to
Yeah.
see you soon. Thanks heaps for joining
See
us.
you
in
soon,
Da
guys.
Nang.
Yeah, no worries.
And definitely keep
Yeah,
in touch,
thank you very
especially
much.
now that things are opening up. And we'll have a beer in your honour once we've finished with our podcast.
Awesome. Enjoy.
Yeah. All right, thanks heaps,
Cheers.
man.
Cheers, guys. Thanks
Bye,
for having me.
See ya. Have a good
Have a
night.
good day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
See ya.
I'm in the big leagues, so they don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in the big leagues. Told him that I gotta go, dog.
Okay, so there you have it. That was Tim Van
Yay!
Berkel.
Wow.
Thanks, Tim.
That's really good.
Yeah, it was good to have someone on for a change. We
Yeah.
don't really interview too
No.
many people.
No.
And I think we should do more of it. He's an interesting guy and great athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Just
you should see him run, man.
Really?
He's a freak. Yeah.
So his running is like my sprinting.
He's got his numbers on his website, you know, like his
Yeah.
sort of best speeds and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I don't know, it's something like I don't know, two minute K or
That's
Wow.
crazy.
2.5. I don't know, maybe even less.
That's
yeah.
yeah,
I
that's
can't do the
running,
maths,
running.
but I know he's quick. Wow.
I think the fastest I've done per kilometer is like 5 minutes, and that's me like going hard.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I normally average at about like 5.5, 6 max.
That's still fast.
And keep in mind that he's done a swim and a bike.
Yeah.
as
yeah,
well.
because the running is the last bit, right?
Yeah. Right. I don't know how they do it. Hey, anyway, let's wrap up the show with our final segment, hey?
Yeah?
We just wanted to talk about some unusual or sort of uncommon or kind of unique sports in Vietnam.
Okay.
Yeah?
So when you say unique, it's like not as popular in the rest of the world.
Yeah, not that well known, I suppose.
Okay.
So I think we all agree that soccer or football is the unofficial sport of Vietnam, right? It's massive.
Yeah. All the
Absolutely
time.
massive. The French brought it here when they turned up, causing all their trouble. And while the French left, the round ball game hasn't. It hung around.
Yeah.
So the men's team is currently ranked way out there in 98th position in the FIFA World Rankings. So, probably middle of the road globally, I suppose. Meanwhile, the women's team, I was interested to find out, is ranked at number 32.
You go, girl.
Yeah, making them the highest ranked ASEAN nation. And the under-23 men's team is ranked around number 8 in Asia.
Wow.
That's
which is a huge
amazing.
effort.
Yeah.
So up-and-coming nation in the football world for sure. But when the national teams aren't playing, it's the English Premier League that everyone's watching. It's massive. Just about everyone has a Man U top or whatever else.
Yeah.
Stickers, on their motorbikes and
Yep. So
helmets,
it doesn't.
the helmets.
Yeah, the helmets.
Yeah, the helmets. I know.
I didn't know Man U Footy Club made helmets.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter where you go. There's always a football replay on. You probably go to the gym, Andy, and the security guard sitting there watching a replay from the night before.
Yeah, whilst Vina music is playing in the background.
So I don't know if we should mention this. You can cut it anytime, but football betting
Oh, yeah.
is all like online betting.
Well,
is
technically
also-
it's illegal.
It's illegal.
Yeah,
it's illegal.
technically
I know
it's
nothing
illegal.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know
nothing
nothing.
about
We know
We know
nothing
nothing.
about it.
Yeah.
No. Moving on.
But yeah, it's as you can tell, it's super popular. And by the way, the National Futsal Championship is underway at the moment, just over here in District 8.
Yeah.
Wow,
They've had
cool.
to postpone it because of COVID. They're worried about that. So,
Yeah, they just started, right?
Yeah, this week or last, something like that. Yeah.
You can't believe like the futsal ball is super hard.
I don't
and
think I've ever
dense.
seen one.
Yo,
Yeah.
you don't want to get hit by one. Like it's super dense. It's small.
Yeah.
And it's just dense.
Right.
Like,
Futsal
like a
is
baseball.
indoor.
Yeah.
It's indoors, right?
Yeah,
You're right.
Yeah.
With the fake turf.
Yeah, I think so.
It's like this rebound concrete kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, obviously football's an imported game. Does Vietnam have its own sport? Well, it does. It actually has its own martial art called Vo Vietnam. And I actually tried to get a local proponent of it on today, but none of them were confident enough to come on and speak English. So hopefully in the future we could get someone on. Vo Vietnam was founded in 1938, and I don't know much about it.
They've got blue uniforms. That's what I know.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's just a sort of a club thing or a national team colour or what.
I think most of them wear the blue jersey.
right,
Yeah.
okay.
But maybe different color belts. But the actual overall is blue.
And
Yeah.
actually, one of them might be sharpening their knives out the back by the sound of it.
Oh, the axle grinder's back.
Because Vo Vietnam is practiced both with and without weapons. The weapons include swords, knives, chisels.
Wow.
I don't know what you'd use.
Why
a
would
chisel,
you? Yeah.
claws.
How does one have a chisel in their drawer?
How about sticks? Like, the...
Like the Filipino one,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Arnis or something.
Don't
Yeah.
upset your builder. When you
Yeah.
get a builder around, guys, the hot tip is it could be a Vo Vietnam specialist.
Expert. Yeah, it could be a grandmaster.
Yeah.
We don't know about it.
And they probably use motorcycle helmets as well. And the sport, the activity, it's based on the principle of hard and soft, which means training the body as well
Okay.
as the mind, which you would probably understand more about, Andy. techniques for attacking and defending are trained
All right.
and can include wrestling. So it's
like a mixed martial arts.
yeah, it kind of sounds like that, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it kind of does. But the videos I've seen,
Yeah?
it's mostly stand up from what I see.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe because the stuff that I see is more sports, like it's not, you know how like when a martial art evolves to become more of a sport rather than a like self-defense type of element, they add rules in, right? Which is
Right.
totally against what happens in a street fight or
Sure.
defensive fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when they add rules in, it changes the style, changes the way people approach things.
Oh, so is Vietnam considered the national sport though?
I'm not too sure if it's
Ah.
actually the sport, but it was invented here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've got a little trivia, and yeah. So did you guys know that since Vietnam started to join the Olympics in 1952, they've only won like 5 medals?
Okay.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So 2 medals in shooting, and one of them was a gold medal
Oh,
in
wow.
the 2016 Rio
Wow,
Games.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2 medals in shooting, 1 medal in taekwondo, right?
Nice.
Okay.
And 2 in weightlifting.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was thinking if your country is like medaled in weightlifting and shooting, is there like a rule where you can change your national sport to elevate the sport that your citizens are really good in? And then, oh yeah, our national sport is shooting.
No, I just thought a national sport would be sort of native to the country, right?
Ah.
Wouldn't it?
Not I mean, what is rugby native to New Zealand?
Was that okay, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, true. Okay.
I think it's just a sport that majority of people play,
Yeah,
whether or not they're
participation,
good or
yeah.
not.
Or
you
they
know,
medaled in the Olympics or something.
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least Vietnam was actually invented here, but it looks as though that it's brought in a whole lot of the other disciplines, and it's this hybrid form of martial arts here.
So I knew that this segment was coming up. So I actually, aside from Googling the medal count of Vietnam in the Olympics, there is a native sport that is considered the national sport. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. It's Dacau.
Ah.
Dacau. Yeah. So
Is it the one with the...
it's like, okay, so if you go down the parks around the city, it's like foot volleyball or foot badminton.
Okay, yeah.
So you kick around a little shuttlecock with a feather,
right.
but
yeah, I've
it's
seen
not.
that.
Yeah, but it's not a badminton shuttlecock.
Yeah, it looks a
Right.
bit like one, though.
It has like a spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it has a spring, it has feathers, and then you can only use your hands, your elbows, your knees, your foot, or your head.
Yep. Yeah, it sounds like it's a little bit like the Thai
Hacky
one.
sack. Oh, I
Yeah,
was gonna say
hacky
hacky
sack
sack.
Hacky
as
sack,
well.
yeah, that's
And
right.
the Thai one, takraw, I think
Yeah.
it's called.
Ah.
And it looks like the name of this is borrowed from that as well.
Yeah.
What is it? Dakao.
In the Philippines, we call it SIPA, SIPA. But actually, like a lot of Southeast Asian countries like Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, I think they standardized the sport, and
Right.
now it's called sepak takraw.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, all over Asia, Southeast Asia, China, Japan, they all have like a version
Yeah.
of this sport.
Yeah, I wonder where it started. Be interesting to find out.
I think China. Everything started in
Yeah,
China.
everyone's from China, right? No, but I think it's just something that just naturally evolves, right? You have something that's round,
Yeah.
and then people want to be like, oh,
You just
let me
wanna kick it.
on it, yeah, and then it's like, hey, how about if I kick it this way, and then you
Yeah.
know, and then
I
it
can
evolves.
imagine
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
caveman is
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
ball,
Yeah.
ball, ooh, ball.
What about you, Andy? What do you got? You got anything else?
Yeah, I mean, not really a Vietnamese sport, right? But it's along the lines of passion, right? And so, like last month, Vietnam had their first legitimate boxing world champion, right?
Right. Yeah.
Which is crazy, given the fact that Vietnam always talks about football, and I'm like, mate, let's be real. You're ranked like barely in the top 100.
98.
98.
Yeah.
you have a population of 100 mil and you're still ranked at 98. Granted, though, like the system is getting better.
Sure.
Like the system, it all comes back down to a system at the end of the day. So you got to have good coaches, good facilities and stuff, and promote
Training,
it. Have a good league,
domestic
league to kind of help promote it. I get
a budget.
that. Yeah, I get that. But you have boxing, which is like Vietnam is a very proud nation. I think a lot of Southeast Asian nations, we're proud. We can fight. Right, so the Philippines is one.
Yeah.
Korea was, Japan was back in the day. I mean, Japan still is, to be honest. And so Vietnam is rising up, and so Vietnam actually has their first world champion. It was last month, man or woman, and it's a legitimate world champion. So in the sport of boxing, there's about like 20 or so alphabet little titles.
There's the women boxing team. I think they're set to participate 2 boxing athletes like next in December or something.
Yeah. I mean, because with the boxing, right, you've got all these like things that are happening, and right now like there's only 4 world titles that they recognize, 4 organizations that they recognize, and Vietnam holds one of them, one of the 4, and it was in her 5th professional fight. Wow. She took on the defending champion who was Japanese, and she was able to beat her. And I think that's an amazing feat that no one really knows about whatsoever. And oddly enough, she's actually from District 7. Her gym is actually from District 7. So a big shout out to them. So her name is, if you're wondering, her name is Wen T Tu Mi. Right? And so she defeated Atsura Takada for the WBO title. And that was like only in the 5th fight, like I said.
Wow.
But mixed martial art is also something that's rising. So we're talking about martial arts, right?
Is this MMA?
This is MMA, yeah, mixed martial arts. And so here in Asia, you got ONE FC, which is basically the UFC, but really in Asia. It's not as big as the UFC, but it's essentially like the biggest mixed martial arts promotional company in this part of the world. And like back in 2019, just before COVID locked everyone out, Vietnam actually, Ho Chi Minh City actually hosted a ONE FC tournament, which is really,
I
really
remember
cool.
that.
Yeah, and so there's a few Vietnamese nationals that actually compete in ONE FC. One of them being B Win. She's American Vietnamese, so she was competing in that. But Australia also has some like Australian Vietnamese.
I just noticed you're like, okay, women. So
what about it?
Would it be fair to say that the women athletes in Vietnam are doing better than the male counterparts?
Really?
No, just with the statistics that you're,
Sounds a bit like
Sounds
it, doesn't it?
like it. Yeah. But, I mean,
the swimmers are good too. The female swimmers.
Yeah.
There was
that's right. There was
a young lady from
She wanted to retire, right?
Yeah.
Well, she asked to retire, which is kind of funny. Can I have permission to retire so I can
she's
have a normal life?
Yeah, I think she runs a swimming school now.
Yeah.
Somewhere
that's
over, not too
great.
far away. I contacted her, but didn't hear back. A bit busy, I think. But she's an amazing swimmer, and I think she did well in the Olympics.
Wow.
So she's that level. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, but like to finish off what I'm saying, right?
Sure.
So ONE FC, you've got this amazing fighter called Man, oddly the Situation.
Oh, that's
his stage name.
That's his stage
but it's
name.
cool. It's kind of cool. But you know what? Like in the UFC, we talk about double world champions. In ONE FC, he was the first double weight like world champion. So basically, he was the champion both weights at the same time.
Can you do that?
Yeah, you can do that. So long as you defend it, you should be okay. And so he's double world, and he's the first in that organization to do it. And he's Vietnamese as well. And the fact that people don't really talk about him is kind of crazy. You also have like another Vietnamese fighter who fights in the UFC, and UFC is the pinnacle when it comes to MMA. And no one talks.
And they're based here.
They're
obviously traveling.
They're based. They're traveling, but they're Vietnamese heritage. They actually, oddly enough, do come from Australia. They do live in Australia, but they're Vietnamese and they're really proud of that heritage as well. And we should celebrate that.
Yeah.
We should know more about
I can't
that.
wait.
We should try and get them on, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I can't wait for like all the sporting events to get back on
Well,
track.
it's good to just go along as well.
Yeah.
It's like just like with
just watch,
what Tim was saying with the Ironman up there in Da Nang. Even if you're not participating, you just get involved in the weekend.
Yeah.
It's a fun weekend.
Yeah,
and,
like a tournament, like any tournament is actually fun. Like boxing tournament, jiu-jitsu tournament. Like Vietnam actually has some really good jiu-jitsu fighters, right? Which is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Like I think we just had a few that actually competed in the World Championships and they were able to medal in it. But, these things happen and football kind of dominates,
Yeah, it
which is
does.
fine.
It does.
So do you guys want to like put a bet, like will baseball become like the next big thing in local sports?
Well, I guess if they put cages in every guanyao around the city, because plenty of people go to those. So
True.
if you can sit down like you can here and just, have a few beers and then
Or
hit,
put the massive-
hit 20 balls every now and then.
Put baseball on a massive TV.
I
Yeah.
mean,
It's just-
billiards is huge here.
Oh,
yeah.
Carom.
and in the Philippines as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Crazy.
they have an ability to pick up a sport and run with it. So I
Who
can't see why
knows?
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got 100 million. So, like, you have the population, really. You just need the time, to be quite honest. Like, baseball is such a new thing here in
True.
this country. Like, yeah, you just
But
need
those
the time.
things grow quickly. Like cycling is getting big now.
Yeah.
Oh, jogging.
Road racing,
the running.
jogging.
Yeah.
When I came here in 2010, no one really jogged.
How do they get around?
Well, no
Motorbike.
one did that sort of fitness.
No, but-
it's an indicator of
Yeah.
how the economy's grown
Sure.
and developed. That
Right.
people have more time and more
Hmm.
money
Right.
to follow these sorts of pursuits.
Yeah.
No one jogged. People still did. The Vietnamese, obviously, as you know, have always exercised.
In the
It's
morning.
been an important part of life.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until probably 5 or 6 years ago that you would see actually people out running in running gear
Wow.
for
Yeah.
fitness.
But
Yeah.
also, I think because of the last 2 years with COVID, the mentality of people in general is more about healthy living, healthy lifestyle. So yeah, watch out for more sports.
And
more,
they love the gear.
Yeah.
They love getting the
Yeah,
gear.
they love the
Like
gear.
with triathlon as
The
an
matching
example,
matchy.
you've got 3 sports.
You mean the active wear?
Yeah,
Let's just
yeah.
call it, yeah.
Is that
The
what you call it?
activewear, yeah.
Active wear. The ladies, what they wear.
The running gear, the bicycle,
The knee
Yeah.
socks
gear,
up to
the
here.
swim
All
gear.
right.
They
Yeah.
love showing it off.
Yeah. They like
You
that
know?
aerodynamism.
Yeah.
Oh, and the wearable tech, these things
Yeah.
that you
Oh, yeah.
put here and while you're jogging.
Oh, all this talk just makes me want to go and have a beer. So I think that's just about the full-time buzzer for the episode, guys. I don't have a buzzer. Hey, did it pump you up? Did this episode-
Yeah.
You want to hit the cages?
Sure, let's do it.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure. Well, no. I
just got
just
your
got my
nails-
nails
Oh,
done.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Spirit fingers.
sorry.
And I'm injured, so it'll be just you. by
Just
the looks
me.
of it, Andy.
Okay.
Yeah. Before we do go and hit those cages, I'd like to thank our special guest, Tim Van Berkel,
Thanks,
for taking the
Tim.
Thanks,
time to
Tim.
chat with us today. I'd also like to thank the team at Baseball Cage here in District 7
Yeah.
Thank you.
for
Special
allowing
shout
us.
out to Abby.
Yeah,
Thanks,
to
Abby.
set up here. It's an awesome venue.
Yeah,
Make sure
definitely.
you pop in and try
Yeah.
out
Yes.
the cages. And it's in District 7.
District 7. Out of the bubble.
And
Everything's happening
I
in
just
District
want to
7.
say,
Yeah.
FYI, this wasn't a sponsored episode. We just liked the place and wanted to do one here.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we're not open to so-called sponsored collabs. If you own a venue and would like us to do a show at your location, get in touch to work something out. We just had a few sort of audio issues with the angle grinder,
But
the fans.
that's the beauty of
Yeah.
doing it live.
Yeah,
Right.
you know?
true.
Exactly.
So anyway, get in touch to work something out if you'd like us to come and visit your venue. Thank you, Mel and Andy, for being part
Thank
of all
you.
this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you'd like to follow Mel on Instagram, you'll find her at Melanie Carsul. Likewise for Andy, check him out on Instagram and Facebook at Andrew Tran Digital, and check out his website, andrewtran.asia, for how Andy can help you with all your marketing needs. And most importantly, thank you for listening and watching today. Our podcast is growing, and I'd say we're batting well above average.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Good stats.
If you're listening on Spotify, be sure to
The bases are loaded.
Be sure to scroll past the show notes after you've read them, of course,
Yes.
and answer the questions
Yep.
we have there for you. We love hearing what you think. Alternatively, visit our website, thebureauasia.com, or engage with us on Facebook and Instagram. We're at YouTube.
At the Bureau Asia.